Welcome back, fam, to the Threshold Agenda. I hope you had a very festive and safe 4th of July weekend. I did. Of course, I'm still here in the land of the living. And I thank you. I thank God that you are also. And I pray that we continue. I pray that we get better than we were yesterday. Today's topic is who got you six? This weekend, I had a little situation, an altercation, almost altercation. Wasn't quite an altercation, but it could have escalated into one. It was definitely a little bit of rage came out of somebody for no reason. I don't even know the reason, but anyway. So my daughter wanted fireworks, and I went outside. I went and bought some fireworks, and she came over from my mom's house, and because mom don't do the fireworks. So I decided to uh, get a couple. I wasn't for to pour all my money into it, but I got enough to be satisfied with, right? Um, so I went outside, and my neighbors every year for the past at least I've noticed for at least the past 3 to 4 years, they have a lot of people coming over for the 4th of July, and for the life of me, I don't understand why everybody come to this house. I'm saying that in hindsight, of course, because this is where the situation came up. Well, when it got dark, I decided to go outside and start to light my fireworks, and I let my daughter. She lit some, so she's overcoming a little bit of her fears of the fireworks. Um, and the people, there's a bunch of children over there, and I don't see any adult supervision, which irritates me a little bit because they're popping fire when they're shooting them everywhere indiscriminately. Well, some of them come over here to my house and I know this because I had a stem of one of the rockets on the truck in the driveway, and I'm like, hey, I'm like, hey, could y'all not shoot your fireworks over my house? Here comes a loudmouth coming. I told him to shoot. Hey, why every time you come? And I'm like, hey, I didn't ask for. I just said I got the evidence right here. I'm not even trying to bother you, but I own this house. You don't own that house. You're a visitor. If you feel so bad, why don't you go to your own house and pop the fireworks? What is wrong with people? What is wrong with people? Just fuss for no reason. Anyway, she's toting this baby, right? And by the way, I think it's the same baby it's been for 3 years. I think it's a prop. I don't even think it's a real baby, but it's dark, so you can't really tell. Anyway, I'm being silly. It's a live baby, I think. Anyway, so um, she's fussing and cussing. Now I don't cuss at people. I don't cuss at all. So uh, I get to a point to where I'm trying to like tell her, Look, you got this," and I have to get loud because she getting loud. She fussing, and I'm like, This is not the kind of conversation I really want to get into." Then it hit me. I started to think, um, I kind of want to not have this conversation because there's a lot of booms and pops and hisses, and these are fireworks. And if she's crazy enough to be fussing and cussing with a complete stranger who she don't know in the dark with a baby in her hand, she might be volatile to have another type of thing that sends projectiles. And I have a daughter out here I'm very much responsible for. So I thank God that she start to fuss and cuss her way back in the house and go somewhere else. I was like, I don't understand where they come from, but she's like, every year, and I'm like, yes, because every year these children out here with no supervision, they shooting fireworks over my house. It's like you have that house. Turn around and shoot at your house, but you're not going to do that, right? Because that don't make any sense, does it? It makes sense to shoot at somebody else's house so they have to deal with it. Yeah, understandable. That's totally logic. Um, so I started to think, what in the world is going on? And I'm so thankful that God had my six. Because I definitely didn't know that that was going to happen again this year. You're just hoping you just go out there and be able to do it, but you're hoping people learn. There's a couple of rocks in my yard that comes only from their yard. That only yard that's in the vicinity that have these certain color rocks, and they're in my yard too. But I don't have those rocks. And I talk to the neighbors. They're usually, I'm real cool in the game with the neighbors, the actual neighbors, the people that live there. It's the visitors. Which brings me to a story. I know y'all love my stories, right? Well, this is a story, and it's just going to be quick. This is actually going to be quick, right? But it's kind of show you how God can have your six. And most people don't even pay attention to this. In the Bible, we know about the children of Israel being led by Moses from bondage from Egypt. They basically roamed the wilderness and the desert. 40 years. By the way, that's almost around 3 million of these people, and only 4 get a chance to go. So that's a long time to let these people die off, right? You want to be rebellious and you don't want to, just you don't want to stay in line with your Lord and Savior, with God, and just follow his lead. And you might get, walk yourself around in circles in misery, because misery loved company. And that woman, she seemed like she just loved misery. She just fired off. She was waiting for me to come outside, probably, you know. But back to the story. So the story is, I know I kind of ramble a little bit, but the story is, um, we know they get led out of Egypt from bondage, and they rode around. They go around for about 40 years, and then they end up crossing. Only about 4 of the original cross over the River Jordan into Canaan's land. Right? What were they led by? Because when we read the story, we want Jesus the shepherd. We want the shepherd, God, to be our shepherd, and we wish to be his sheep, and we want to lead. So he led us with a pillar of fire. Everybody know a pillar of fire. Oh, it must have been an awesome sight. And there's a cloud, and a cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. Sometimes it'll move for days on end, and they're just going. It's like, oh my God, there's nothing extinguishing this fire. This is must. It's got to be God, right? And I'm starting to. But my part of the story, what I was always interested in, was we heard about that, but there was something else out there with them, and it was a rock. It was a rock that was following them. Now, I've seen fire being made. I've seen clouds before, clouds of smoke and just regular clouds. Seen that before. Now it's gonna be God when they follow and they never disperse and the fire never extinguished. That's definitely something supernatural about that, right? But a rock. But if I'm walking, especially if I'm in the back, I'm chilling, looking, man, I'm tired, and I see this rock fall. I'm like, man, I see this fire. Man, everybody been paying attention to this rock back here. And you see this rock? Did you see this thing move? Ain't nobody pushing it, man. This thing been following us the whole time. We went around the mountain. We went that rock came with me. How in the world is this rock coming up here? And that rock was a representation of Christ. Christ got your 6. So while everybody paying attention to what's in front, there's a rock behind you, following you. And that's what I think would happen. Christ diverted that person to go on, look, take that on somewhere else. We're not going to have that over here. I thank God for his covering. I thank God for his mercy. I thank God for his grace. I thank God for his favor, because at that moment I had forgotten that I am not the one in total control. And I brought her in harm's way, even if it was for an instant. It was still, and it wasn't intentional. I wasn't being hostile, but it was still a situation of which could have definitely gotten out of hand, and I do not have full control over it. I cannot see the danger. It's dark. And physically, I can't see the danger. Spiritually, I don't know what's over there what they're dealing with. And God diverted that thing. That's what I'm going to claim. Whether it was really that or you want to claim it as something, I'm going to say God diverted it. God had my 6. My Lord and Savior had my 6. So when you go out and you do stuff, this is what I encourage people to do, to know that God still got your 6. Now, I'm not saying go out there and just blatantly go and do stuff. Oh, God got my 6, so I could do it. No, no, no. Don't do that. I wouldn't do that. Don't tempt him. Don't tempt him. But just know that his children, those that follow him and believe in him, even when you make a mistake, believe that God got your 6. This is a message from the Threshold Agenda tonight. I hope that you share, like, and subscribe, and come back next time. Until next time, I thank you for being with me tonight. Peace and be blessed.